Alive on the Mounjaro, it's on the pen alive, with your host David Knapp.
Happy Thursday night, everyone. Welcome to the stream. You are on the pen. That's why you're here. I'm Man on the Mounjaro, Dave Knapp. That's why I am here, and we are on the pen live tonight. We've got a great show for you. Super excited to bring in some guests. If we're counting Chrissy, 2 guests that are on repeatedly, but we also have Jernine Trott, who has not been on the stream. We've been trying to make that happen for a long time now, and she's here tonight with some breaking news that we're super excited about. All of her social media call outs are in the description of this video. You can find it in the description. You're going to want to follow the accounts that she's involved with because there's such great information there. And so we're super thrilled to have her here tonight. Super thrilled to have Michelle H here as well. And the 3 of us are going to discuss treating obesity holistically. So from a 360-degree view, the mind, the body, the spirit. It's just part of what I'm learning on this Mounjaro journey is how intrinsically each one of those aspects of our human being are tied together. And when one of them is out of whack, the other ones feel it. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what it means to battle obesity and how to battle it from that 360-degree view. We're super, super excited to have that conversation tonight. So check out Jernine's call outs in the description. Michelle's are there as well. And of course, we've got Krissy, which has become one of the favorite parts of the show for folks is Krissy's time at the end of the stream. And when Krissy comes on, we are going to take some calls as well. And towards the end, I haven't asked them if it's okay, but these ladies are pretty chill. We will open the phone lines with Michelle and Jernine for a couple minutes before they leave the stream too, if anybody has anything for them. So I'll scroll the number across the bottom of the screen when we start taking calls tonight. And we're so thrilled to have added that kind of little piece to the show. I think that everybody's kind of enjoying that. In the world of On the Pen, we kind of have a rhythm and a cadence to this show where I start off by sharing what's fresh in the world of GLP-1s on this channel, on my journey. It's kind of a mix of everything from week to week. And then we share a little bit of fake news. We take out the trash on Thursday with whatever fake news is going around on the interwebs. And then we usually have an interview, a call in, a guest tonight. Like I said, it's Jernine and Michelle. And then Krissy will come on after that. Now, if you're interested, you're going to notice that last week, the biggest super chat got to choose where I injected the pen, the Mounjaro pen. We're going to do that again, but you might notice something interesting about this pen if you follow the channel. This pen says 5 milligrams on it. So I had a rough week. Well, first of all, let's roll the bumper before, because this is kind of fresh. This is kind of what's fresh in the life of Dave Knapp. So we'll roll this under the What's Fresh banner. So what's fresh is, at least one of the things, is that the 12.5 milligram did not help my headaches. It didn't help them at all, actually. I had them just about as frequently on the 12.5 this last week as I did. Some of it could be some of the 15 milligram dose still in the system working its way out. But I decided this week to kind of start back from the 5 milligram and titrate slowly back up. I didn't have that opportunity. So I'm hoping to do a month on the 5, a month on the 7.5, a month on the 10, a month on the 12.5, a month on the 15. We'll kind of see as I go along how that goes. And you may even catch me camping out on one of them if they seem to be very beneficial. Now, here's another piece of interesting information. When I stalled on my weight loss, you may know that I started on the Weight Watchers program. Because I'm moving back in dosages and I am type 2 diabetic, I did notice after the couple days on the 12.5 that my blood sugar numbers did creep back up a little bit. And so in anticipation of moving back to the 5, I started eating a keto diet again to keep my blood sugars in check so that I didn't have this, major skyrocket. So I started that about 4 or 5 days ago, and I experienced something that I have not experienced on Mounjaro yet. I experienced intense appetite suppression. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the two are linked together, if there's something magical about the 12.5 dose. I don't know. I tend to think that for me, perhaps, a higher intake in protein because I'm eating low carbohydrate, I'm eating more meat, but I experienced appetite suppression in a way that even when I switched to the 15 milligram, I felt like I had a brick in my stomach for a couple days. And I just, when I go to eat, I eat a normal amount, but I feel full for so much longer. So it'll be interesting to kind of go back and do this again. I hope that the dosages are available and that I can actually try each dose this time. But yeah, we're starting back with the 5. So the biggest super chat of the night is going to get to choose where this 5 milligram goes within reason. So we'll do that again. That was fun doing that last week. So that is one of the things that is fresh this week. A couple things. Did a couple videos this past week, and one of them was an update on the Mounjaro card with the breaking news kind of being that if you hold the December card and you have coverage through your insurance, your card's likely changing. The terms are likely going to change come June. And so that was news, but also within that video, in case you missed it, Angie and Jenny over at Top Form Telehealth and Aspire Health put out this useful guide for guiding you through insurance conversations. So on the left-hand side, you have Mounjaro, Ozempic, and Trulicity for anybody who are using those GLP-1s. It's just kind of a flow chart of the questions to ask your insurance company to find out about coverage, and then ultimately, based upon your answers to those questions, what your options will be. And so this is a super helpful guide if you need help navigating those insurance conversations. And this is available over at On the Pen, my website, onthepen.com, which is linked in the description of this video. That is what is fresh. So we're going to get a little bit deeper. Well, I'd be remiss without saying also new members this week. We had a new member join. That was Melissa R., who also called into the stream last week. Was a great conversation. If you are interested in becoming a member of this channel, get access to exclusive videos, early access to select content, and just more access to my personal journey. $2.99 a month. Great way to get back to the stream. Links in the description below if you'd like to become a member. So that's what's fresh. But we had some major fake news this week too. So let's take out the trash real quick. So the big news for me this week was I've been scammed. I've been spoofed. My account has been spoofed. And I'm not sure if any of you have had to deal with this, but somebody's used my account to create a fake Instagram account and reach out to people through direct message and try to scam them out of Mounjaro, try to get them to send them money for Mounjaro. Folks, I can't help you if you fall for this stuff. Nobody's selling Mounjaro. It's illegal to share your prescription. It's definitely not me, but you should not be paying any attention to these kind of messages, even if they look the part. Find me here on YouTube, comment on a video. That's the safest way probably to find me and see if some sort of message is legit. But I don't really reach out to people that often unless I'm inviting somebody to be on the stream. If you reach out to me on my accounts, I will message you back. A couple of things that I wanted to just show you because I find that this is helpful is that some of these accounts will do very, very clever things with their videos, the pictures that they add to their accounts. But all these accounts use generally the same pictures. So I'm just going to show some of them. If you see this picture, I've seen this picture on about 5 or 6 different scam accounts. Same with this picture. Same with this picture. And same with this picture. Now, this gal probably isn't one of the scammers, but her poor unfortunate picture that she posted has been picked up by these scammers. And so if you see any of these pictures, it's a scam. It's a scam, and they use them over and over and over again. So I hope that that's helpful for you as you navigate this. I just been brought to my attention that we had a super chat Pug on Mounjaro, $49.99. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you, Pug. I so appreciate that. So the pen is in your court, so to speak. So we'll be nice. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. So we've got a fun segment in store for you, as I kind of let off at the top of the stream. We've got two, let's call them hot channels, because I haven't been able to roll this bumper in a few weeks, and this is my favorite bumper to roll. So we're going to roll this before we bring Michelle and Jernine in.
Hot channel.
So Jernine's channel, her call outs on social media are linked in the description of this video. She's going to break some news right off the bat. And then we've got Michelle, and her hot Instagram channel is linked in the description at Chronic Bariatric Girly. Jernine's call outs are typically at the Jernine, but you check the description to make sure for whatever channel you're looking at. And without further ado, I'm going to bring in Jernine and Michelle. Jernine, welcome to the stream. Welcome, Michelle. Welcome to the stream.
Hi.
So glad to have you ladies here. Welcome to the moon.
Thank you. It's awesome to be on the moon. Thank you.
It's been a long time coming for you, Jernine, and Michelle. You're like a seasoned veteran on our show now.
Yeah.
A staple. You're a staple in the Mounjaro, not just on this channel, but on the Mounjaro community as a whole. I mean,
yeah.
I think of the Discord, like your presence there, your knowledge, it really makes the channel, that Discord channel, just a great place to be. I mean, there's a lot of great people there, but it just wouldn't be the same without you. And Jernine, you've been following this channel for a while, and you've got your own podcast that you do. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your podcast? And then also, one of your guests broke some news today. If you don't mind bringing that news to the folks here on the channel.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Michelle, thank you so much for all of your knowledge. Dave, I always call him bro. Bro, thank you so much for having me on. You don't know how nervous and excited that I have been. And I have been following this channel almost since its inception. So I just love to see the evolution. But this morning, I received a message from one of our podcast guests, and he's actually very active in the GLP-1 community, and he is an advocate for obesity medicine. And it was just out of the blue, and he's like, hey, just want to let you know, we've got some breaking news here. Like, oh, okay. And I was tagged in the video on TikTok. So this morning, the news is that Mounjaro is now being classified that physicians and medical providers can clinically prescribe Mounjaro to treat chronic weight management. So they can do this via is that not huge news? They can do this via the Hippocrates mobile app, and that's owned by Athena Health. So if I'm not mistaken, and Michelle, please, jump in, but I believe Hippocrates allows medical providers to prescribe medication.
Yeah, and Athena Health is their actual online medical platform for telehealth for many of my providers, as well as their medical record system. So like a couple of my doctors use it for getting their medical records and everything. Like I can go in and get my records, and I can go in and talk to my doctors and chat in Athena. So yeah, it's a comprehensive management system, basically, the two of them together.
Okay, yeah. So all I knew was Hippocrates. And I'm like, okay, so I'm Googling Hippocrates to see, but this is such big news, and it's such a huge step for those of us that have been advocating for GLP-1s, not just to be used for the treatment of type 2 diabetics. I'm a type 2 diabetic. Dave is a type 2 diabetic. But we saw how Mounjaro was treating so many other comorbidities, and not just treating them, but treating them effectively. And it's just one step closer for obesity to be, treated as the chronic disease as it is, and to get the proper treatment for it, for PCOS, for metabolic, syndromes, for fatty liver, so many other comorbidities that are now going to be able to be treated, and people will hopefully have access to them. So that is the huge news. And it dropped this morning. There was no email. There was no heads up. Just all of a sudden, Mounjaro can now be used for chronic weight management.
So this popped up again on a sort of a prescription management platform that providers would use, right? And that was called, what was the name of that again?
It is, if I'm not mistaken, Michelle, Hippocrates.
Yes, that's correct.
That
Okay.
rings a bell. So Jess's question was if that's similar to like my chart. I know that's what my
Athena is similar to my chart.
Okay.
Which owns Hippocrates.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's
So Hippocrates is for the providers only. Athena or my chart are for both the patient and.
So they're probably integrated, but not necessarily.
They're portals, and
right. So the prescriber is going to maybe prescribe through one.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hippocrates.
It's going to then talk to, what do you say? Athena.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so they just talk together, but that's, Emily, who's also, an NP. She said she's going to go check on her Hippocrates account right now to see if it's there. So she'll, double verify it. So it's always great to have her in this stream. She always adds so much to the chat. So awesome news. Awesome news. Like the biggest thing that I'm sitting over here, like, I cannot wait for the stupid debate over who gets dibs on Mounjaro to be over once and for all. Now, I don't know. This isn't necessarily this doesn't necessarily equate to the FDA approving or having approved Mounjaro yet for weight loss, but it's probably a good indication that things are going on behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
These wheels don't start in motion without people knowing things, right? So potentially some really great news. So I appreciate you bringing that to the On the Pen Live tonight and bringing the folks just some breaking news. Like, that was unexpected. So I'm so thankful to have you on tonight, and thanks for bringing a little more clarity around that, Michelle, as well.
I'm so excited. That's wonderful, Jernine. I'm glad you told me, because like I said, I'd watched your podcast, but I hadn't got to watch that video yet. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it's and it was Bourbon RX. That's his
he's from Tennessee, right?
Yes. Either Tennessee or Kentucky. And his handle is Bourbon RX. And he's the one that really kind of broke the news, because he was in Hippocrates this morning, and he's like, whoa, wait a minute. Chronic weight management. So it's definitely not FDA approved yet, but I believe that we're one step closer, because I think the trials were wrapping up, the final phase of the weight loss trials.
Mm-hmm.
So
they were getting to the end of the last one. Oh, sorry, Dave.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a rolling submission that they have for like a I can't remember what the word is, but for basically a faster authorization process that they were approved for, which means they have a rolling submission. So it means that as this data comes in, the FDA has it. And
they have a fast track application.
Yeah. So that is great. And Emily, change her name on me. MEB from the DMV, the gal who's in here frequently. And she is an NP, and she's just verifying that, yes, she logged in and she sees the same thing. So that is awesome.
Yay.
Awesome news.
Yay.
So that is such great news. And just to add a little bit more context around it, and somebody had mentioned earlier here, I want to give them proper credit. I think it might have been Emily. She said, yeah, hence the coupon dropping early. So all those changes coming, we know from following the Eli Lilly calls that their focus has been on moving prescriptions to paid scripts, right?
Yeah.
And so if they have all these people on these coupons and then all of a sudden the weight loss indication is here, that's less Mounjaro that people could potentially be paying for instead of them footing the bill. So that does track along with, that them expecting that indication coming soon. So that's some super exciting news that I never expected to be talking about. And it's not even May. So that is potentially great news for people who are taking Mounjaro, which I got a feel for most people that follow Man on the Mounjaro. I don't think that most people that follow me here are diabetic. I think most people are on Mounjaro or they're on a GLP-1, but they're not diabetic. And so what great news for those of you who are on Mounjaro, who maybe have lost access to it. Again, then the battle, right, Michelle? The battle becomes talking to your employer,
talking to your employer and trying to get them to get that insurance coverage added. That's the most important thing. It's not that expensive. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
Just convince them.
Exactly. You've got to do the work to sit down with your benefits coordinator, your HR people, whoever handle it within your company, and start having those conversations. If you're in a bigger company, start with maybe writing a letter and, word it in a way that, they want them to be allies with you in the fight in the battle against obesity, to add the medicines to coverage. Because just because it's, facing approval by the FDA doesn't mean that it's going to be covered. It might be just as inaccessible to a lot of people.
And more insurance companies are adding it to formularies. So if it's already on the formulary, it's going to be a lot easier to convince them to get you on for something, whether it's Wegovy or Mounjaro for weight loss. If it's already on the formulary, you can say, see, this is valuable. I can actually use this, and that's helping. I mean, there's more and more insurance adding it all the time. So, because they do update formularies, just because they have the once a year rollout doesn't mean that it's stuck there.
Absolutely.
And that was my question of whether it's updated, because my plan year updates January 1. I know we just crossed April 1 and a lot of plans do April 2.
They can still update the formulary. Cigna did it last. Our new formulary comes out for the next year in like November or December. And last year they updated the formulary. I think it was in July. Because if they find something is valuable, and Cigna's a little, I know there's been some bad news about Cigna lately, but the truth is I have great experience with Cigna, and I think Melissa will tell you the same thing. Cigna's been leading with Mounjaro and pushing it because I think they see it is going to save them money in the long run. I think they're one that's finally getting that through their thick board skulls there. So, whether they choose to update a formula or not, there's no guessing, but they definitely don't have to wait until the plan year changes for the formulary to update.
Okay. That is so good to know, because I know I've been getting that question all day today and I could not answer that. And with fact checking and everything, you just want to make sure that you're giving out the right information. And like for my formulary, Mounjaro was $75 a box. Now it's down to $35.
That's great.
A box. Yeah. So I would love to see how this is going to shake with all of the insurance companies within the next 2 months.
It's exciting.
It's an exciting time. It really
is.
As we were talking before we came on, and Jernine and Michelle and I were just kind of geeking out over the fact that Jernine brought it up. Like, we're in uncharted territories. Like, we are navigating things that other people have not ever had to navigate, and we're kind of doing it in real time here on our respective channels, on our accounts, in the Discord. And it's just really an exciting time to be out in front and kind of leading the charge for those who will come behind us, and discover these medications. And what a gift it is to be spreading the gospel early about such wonderful medicines. And that's kind of a nice segue into the ultimate reason that the three of us kind of decided to get together on the stream tonight. And that is that Mounjaro is an excellent tool. GLP-1 medications are an excellent tool in the biological fight against obesity, against metabolic disorder, against type 2 diabetes. But what I've really learned in my own journey here in the last few months, through all of the ups and downs of my journey, is that this is as much a battle of the mind and the spirit as it is of the body. And there's for me, I feel like almost equal amounts of brokenness in those areas that all have to be dealt with together to see long-term success. And I know that I know you both have a lot to say on the topic, because we were kind of going back and forth in the Discord. I'm like, this needs to be on the channel. But Michelle, you have had a lot to say, just kind of in passing to some of the comments that I've made, maybe in frustration on the Discord or on the channel. And you've said, well, I've got some things that I've learned along the way that I'd like to share. And I just want to, start this conversation with just, what are some of those things? What are some of those tricks that you've learned to help avoid, I'll call it emotional eating, although I never put myself in that category because I always thought sadness and eating. And I don't really find myself going to food when I'm sad.
But stress eating is emotional eating.
It's stress. And I go there because of stress, and that is an emotion. So
people have different reasons that they go to emotional eating. It may be stress. Some people may only do it when they're sad. Some people may do it all the time when they have something to celebrate, when they're sad, when they're stressed. But everybody's a little bit different in that. For me, it was more stress as well. I mean, I always like to eat, but and I started this journey a long time ago because of my weight loss surgery, which was pretty successful because I maintained that for half of that for a while. Anyway, but a couple of things I've learned that have been helpful to me is, first of all, you've got to make a commitment to this. And it has to be one of the most important things in your life. And I'm not saying don't take your kid to the hospital if that comes up, but you have to set aside time for yourself and make a commitment to your health. And you can't give up on that. Now, does that mean you're going to do everything right every day? No. But you should pick a few things that are your bare minimums that keep your toes in the water, so to speak. And I have my minimums. My minimums are I will take some kind of walk every day, even if it's just 10 minutes. That's not my norm, and I will the other thing that I make sure I do every day is try to get enough protein in. So I'm not always great at that, but your minimums can be anything. So, and there's actually somebody who has another YouTube channel, Half Size Me. I came up with some of this on my own, but she has names for this stuff too. So she's got minimum, basic, and preferred. And so if you set up your habits, and first you're going to build your habits small. You're going to start small. And it's going to be building along in the journey. You're not going to change everything in one day. If you do that, you're going to fail. So try to pick one or two things to work on at a week until you've mastered those things, right? And once you've mastered those things and gotten your routine going, then you can create a list of your minimum, basic, and preferred behaviors. And most of the time, you're probably going to be doing basic behaviors more often. But you should also have in mind what a preferred day looks like if you've got a great day going and you don't have a lot of stress and you can do something extra. Okay. That's been helpful for me is making the commitment and then also building on my behaviors and trying to keep as many of them going as I can, but also not beating myself up if I don't have a preferred day or even a basic day. If I have a minimum day, I've kept my toes in the water. And then the next day I'll try to make it a basic day. Or maybe say somebody's in the hospital and you're at the hospital. Well, in that instance, I'm probably going to walk the halls for a while. And then I'm going to go to the cafeteria and get some eggs. Everybody, it's different for everybody. But the commitment and investing time in yourself is the most important part. And I mean, I've got a whole lot of these, so I'm not going to like monopolize the entire conversation, but I think that's a good way to get started, is think about what you want your habits to be, think about how to build them, and start working on one or two during the journey.
Yeah, one of the things that I've heard that kind of mentality referred to lately is stacking, like stacking one thing on top of the other. You start small, you stack it, and pretty soon you got, you've got what you intended to start with, but you didn't have to, do it all in one giant bite.
Yeah. Habit stacking is important. And actually, if you get into what the guy who wrote that book about habit stacking, I'm trying to think of the name. Everybody knows the name of it, but of course, it won't come to me right now. I think his name's James Clear, maybe. Some people say do certain things while you're brushing your teeth, for instance. All right, you've already got the habit. I'm brushing my teeth. So why don't I go ahead and make a meal plan for tomorrow while I'm doing this real quick and just kind of plan out my day? And it doesn't have to be perfect, but planning is a big part of this too. If you get into the habit of planning your day and working with your habits, you can make things be more successful for you.
Awesome. So Jernine, I don't know as much about your journey and what kind of led you to Mounjaro. I mean, I know you're type 2 diabetic,
Yes.
but I don't know, was weight a big struggle for you, like it has been for myself and Michelle, or?
Yeah. It actually was a combination, but weight was an issue. I did not experience obesity until later in life. I was pretty much diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in 2016. And my doctor and I had agreed to manage it via diet and exercise. And that worked for a while. But as we know, your body's not functioning properly.
Right.
So I'm thinking, oh, well, I'm still that 20-year-old cheerleader in college where all I had to do was just, exercise. But I'm exercising and I still have this visceral fat in my midsection. Could not get rid of it. And it started becoming not just for vanity, but I was reading and researching and just read that visceral fat is very dangerous. So and I'll never forget it, after, going to see my doctor every 3 months, because that's what we as diabetics do. We get a full blood panel done every 3 months. December 19th, 2022 was one of the days that changed my life. I finally asked my doctor for help. And I said, I don't know what else to do. I am working out, I'm eating clean, and I'm still 195 pounds, which is technically obese. And I keep this by my desk because it's just something that reminds me. And I think you should always keep a visual of something that keeps you centered. And this is the actual sticky note that she wrote the 3 medications on. And it was Mounjaro was first, Ozempic, and Wegovy. And this was the actual paper. And she said, I think one of these can help you. I had never heard of Mounjaro. All I knew was Ozempic, and I sang the jingle in my appointment. I'm like, oh, that thing, the OOO song? She's like, yeah, that one. I said, okay, well, with the holidays, everything was closed. Fast forward to January 13th, 2023, because my insurance plan required a prior authorization for Mounjaro. At this point, I'm starting to look online. I'm starting to look on social media channels to try to scour to see what information I can find about this medication. Well, I didn't realize it was a rabbit hole. Woo, gracious, thus here today. So I called my pharmacy benefits manager. They had me on hold for 3 to 5 minutes. They came back and said, oh, your PA's approved. Oh, okay. It was just like that. I received a text message from my pharmacy and I picked up my first box. I was so excited. I forgot to use the savings card, the savings coupon that I had downloaded in January. And that's how it started. And I am here today, and I am a much better person because of it.
Wow. It's almost scary how similar your story is to mine. I was not a college cheerleader, which may come as a shock. Which may come as a huge shock to some people. But equally, what may become a shock to people is in high school, I did have a brief stint as a cheerleader.
Okay.
So I'm going to just tell the story real quick because it's kind of fun. So like I wasn't in, I mean, I didn't pay attention. I paid attention to girls in school. I did not pay attention to school in school. And one girl in particular, her name was Jenny. And Jenny was this cute little cheerleader. And we were in a small school and they wanted to do this big routine for homecoming. But they needed some guys with some muscles to throw them up in the air and catch them.
Right.
So I thought, well, hey, I'll throw her up in the air any day. So me and a couple of my buddies were like, yeah, we'll do it. That's awesome. So we did it. We went to the first practice. We all cocky and confident. And Jenny's just this tiny little thing. She gets up on our arms and I'm like, I'm gonna show this girl how strong I am. 1, 2, 3. We throw her in the air. We throw her halfway across the gym because we didn't know what we were doing.
Oh no.
Halfway across the gym, lands on her wrist, breaks her wrist. And Jenny is my wife.
I was just going to ask.
So that's
did you
how
all end up getting married.
So that's how it all started. Sue just gave a super chat. Thank you, Sue. I appreciate you, buddy. You're so generous. But yeah, so I did a brief stint, and they didn't fire us right away. So I think we got to go do the homecoming routine with them or whatever. I don't really remember much after breaking Jenny's arm, but
yeah.
But yeah, so basically, I got the diagnosis, and I thought the first thing he goes, how do you want to handle this? And I said, well, I want to work as hard as I can to not have to take medicine, because in my mind, like, medicine was giving up. Like, that's just where my head was.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to resign myself to insulin and metformin and everything. I've got diabetics in my family, and they're all miserable on insulin that makes them gain weight. They're all miserable on metformin. They feel terrible on metformin. Like, I don't want to do that. And I already knew enough about keto to know how it works. Like, let me do keto. Yeah. Let's fight this thing without medicine. So that's where I embarked on a year of keto, and I won't rehash the whole story, but after a year of doing everything I possibly could, my sugars were controlled, but I didn't lose any weight. And what I didn't understand was how metabolically broken I was, how much sugar my fatty liver was producing, and how hard that was for my body to keep up with, and how much insulin I was having to make to keep it down, and super high insulin levels. It's very hard to lose weight when you have super high insulin levels. So, I had just given up on keto, in large part because I had been on and off it for 10 or 15 years or longer. And it had just rewired my brain into thinking, this food is bad or that food is bad. And so I've really needed this time, and the gift that Mounjaro has been to me is from a mental standpoint, to do a lot of work on coming to this realization that there isn't bad food. There isn't bad food. There's overeating. There's food that offers different nutrition than other food, that may be more beneficial to you based upon what your nutritional needs are. But there's no food that's inherently a bad moral decision, right? It's just a choice. And that's one of the things that, because Mounjaro fixed the things that were wrong with me metabolically, it gave me pause to rewire that. Now I'm all upside down, because having gone back on keto for the last few days to bring my sugars down, decreasing the Mounjaro, and now I'm feeling Mounjaro in a way that I've honestly never felt Mounjaro. And I think back to what you were saying earlier, Michelle, I think it's probably because I'm eating a ton of protein.
It is. You're probably actually on a low carb and not really keto. Keto is 75, basically. I know there's different definitions, but keto is 75% fat, 20% protein, 10% carb.
Yeah, it's keto in the sense that my carbs are under 20. The macros are way higher protein than they are
that
fat.
can put you, and that's not really keto. That's just what people are calling keto. So you're on a high protein, low carb diet, which works very well for diabetes. But honestly, they've also done studies and put people on a low fat diet, and it does as well, because the main thing for diabetes control is losing weight. That really is the most important part of it. Now, there's going to be a few outliers, so I know that, guys, in the chat, but either way, getting that protein in is really what is making you full, though. You're absolutely right. It's what does it. And in addition to realizing there's no good or bad foods, temporarily going on keto and being a little stricter with yourself to get your blood sugar under control is a good move. It's just, I think you have to realize it's probably not sustainable for you forever.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
My
goal would be to, ultimately to titrate back up through the doses.
Right.
And as the Mounjaro allows me to shift my macronutrients back because my sugars are well controlled. Because the other thing that I've noticed, Michelle, is, I have had a ton of fatigue with Mounjaro, and I think what I'm learning, again, being back on low carb, is I think that even though my sugar spikes were lower and came right back down, I think the fatigue for me is coming with the burst of insulin. Like as my body creates that
makes sense.
Down, it just, and I'm kind of just the last couple of days making that correlation. And so really, to me, it's also about managing the fatigue aspect of things for me, because I've felt so dang tired lately, so much to the point that I've got, B12 shots coming in the mail to help.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. So let me ask you this. I find I get a lot of fatigue the first couple of days, regardless, on Mounjaro, but not after that, right? You're having it consistently for a while. I find that when I'm really fatigued, that I also eat more, and getting poor sleep also causes people to eat more. So that's something else we also have to be on the lookout for, which can kind of feed into something like emotional eating. Because when you're tired, sometimes you're just hungrier, and sometimes your body's just like, feed me to keep me awake, or feed me to keep me going, kind of thing. I don't know if that's true for you, but it is for me. Because the way I used to work when I could work, it was such a crazy job and everything, and I was traveling all the time. I did that a lot. I would just stuff myself to keep myself going, and I could feel it. And of course, getting good sleep is hard, and I don't do it. We know that from the Discord probably, but I try. And so I'll sleep in off times if I have to, or whatever. So I try, because this all goes back to kind of also all or nothing thinking. Right. So that's what I was getting to with doing keto for a while. I would say do what works, like I always do, but with a mind towards maintenance, because that's the other thing people forget this whole time is we need to have a mind towards maintenance, because we've all lost weight. Okay. This is not new for us. We've all lost weight, but how many of us have kept it off? Yeah. That's where our
do for that
thing is.
When I'm so glad Michelle, brought up maintenance, and we were talking about that also. Is again, this is uncharted territory. Like, what is maintenance? Like, what is the maintenance dose? And also in terms of the fatigue, I know on 2.5. Thank goodness I was on vacation. I did a staycation at home because I had no energy whatsoever. My mom was so concerned, and she's like, Jernine, are you sure this is the right medication for you? I was like, yeah. I
hated 2.5.
look, yeah. My body just needs to get adjusted. But I was also thinking, in terms of the fatigue, do you think that maybe because we have delayed emptying, that how when you feel full,
that's a big part of it.
Is that maybe a part of it also? Because
I've read that in a couple of research papers. It is a part of it. Because the funny thing is, fatigue, even though the doctors know that fatigue is a big side effect, it isn't listed as one of the main side effects of Mounjaro, but we know it's there.
It is way down.
It's not in the top, and it's I see it as being one of the top ones to me.
Well, I think too, like part of that might be, people who are type 2 diabetic and obese, we're tired all the time anyway.
Oh yeah. And I have fatigue already from my chronic illnesses too. So yeah, I get that. That makes sense. But no, well, and thinking towards maintenance, we will have to figure out our doses, but also how we're going to eat, because honestly, we're not going to eat that different than we did losing the weight calorie wise. It's only about a 300 to 500 calorie difference a day, usually in maintenance. Right. And so we have to get in our minds that we're not going to, and this is where the all nothing thinking comes in. We're not going to eat like this and then go back to how we used to eat, or we're not waiting we have to change our lives, and not just the lifestyle thing. That's, kind of cliche, but we have to think this is what we're doing forever. Not on the keto thing is not what I mean. I mean, the amount of food. Right. And we're just going to be eating a little bit more for maintenance. So we have to be prepared to not jump off the train and to have that commitment to ourselves. And we're going to mess up sometimes. But if we make that commitment to ourselves every day, to put some time into it every day for ourselves, I think we'll be more successful. Or it's meant a lot to me. It's helped me a lot.
It's helped me a lot too, especially the protein. I went to the proteincalculator.com. And calculated the amount of protein that I would need per day. And mine is 90 grams of protein per day. So,
that sounds right.
Look, thank you, Michelle. But I literally am getting protein in wherever I can. So just in case, I said, oh yeah, let me have my Core Power, my Fairlife Core Power shake too. That I can put a skinny syrup in, and at least that's 26 grams of whey protein. So now I'm constantly thinking about protein. I don't think of food because I think we have denied ourselves for so long. And with this medication, because Mounjaro is a dual agonist, it works with the hypothalamus of the brain. Right. So I don't have to say, oh, I can't eat that. I think that, in my opinion, that thinking, because most of us were trained that way because we were trying to fight against our bodies, has made it where it's like, okay, well, I can't eat that, and oh well, I can't have that. Now I just do intuitive eating. If I have a taste for a Justin's peanut butter cup, I'm going to have a Justin's peanut butter cup. Right. And I don't deny myself, but this medication stops you really from overeating because you'll get sick.
Well, and that's the thing. Restriction leads to all kinds of bad eating habits. Binge eaters, the ones who have actual binge eating disorder, they get led to that usually from restriction. I mean, it's the biggest trigger, even in recovery from that disorder. Yeah. I don't even know, honestly, these days, I hate to say it, I don't even know if some of these disorders exist. I think they're probably all biologically harmed, and they have some kind of thinking defect that's developed. But I think mostly these people are still just they have a biological problem like the rest of us. But restriction is definitely what leads to that. But, and somebody like Dave, who's trying to restrict specifically because of his blood sugars, see, if he gets his protein in first, he could still have a Justin's, peanut butter cup every now and then if he wanted to, right?
Every now and again, but I mean, Dave,
not 5 a day.
Right. Well, I only have one maybe twice a month, but honestly, Dave, as one type 2 diabetic talking to another type 2 diabetic, the protein is more important. Yes. I mean, with foods, the macros and everything. I used to count macros. You know what? I don't do it anymore.
No, it's not a good idea.
Yeah. I don't do it anymore. I'm more focused on protein because with weight loss, you have to make sure that your body is still getting enough protein for it to function properly. Right. And also, especially with drastic weight loss as we can experience on these GLP-1 medications, you have to make sure that your protein, because the protein feeds the muscle. You want to lose more fat than muscle. So we're going to lose some muscle, unfortunately. So you have to replace that, because if you don't have muscle, you can't burn fat.
Yeah.
You
And there's two types of,
cyclical.
it makes sense. And there's two types of insulin resistance. There's the liver insulin resistance, and then there's muscle insulin resistance. Some people have both, and some people only have one. They're not very good at telling, because they have a test for diabetes, but no matter what anybody says, there's no real test for insulin resistance. They put together a couple of tests, and then they make a hypothesis based on that test. But now they're getting close to where they may be able to do a test on muscle insulin resistance, which would be helpful for people. But protein helps with that too. I had my RMR today and my and a DEXA scan, and I hadn't had a DEXA in 2 years. But my RMR, which is your resting metabolic rate test, the reason I said that about 90 grams of protein is because he actually found I need about 90, but he wants me to do 100, right? So
we're just right on par. Yeah. It seems like 90 is always the magic number. And for water and electrolytes, when I first started, and I'm not sure about you, Michelle, I'm not sure about you, Dave, I wasn't getting enough electrolytes. So I was drinking water, but I wasn't getting the electrolytes. I didn't know.
Dave's big on that for sure.
And then now, so I use Stir, and it's like $2 a box, and I get my electrolytes in, and I feel so much better. I feel like a totally different person, but I make sure that I take this cup wherever I go, or any cup. I mean, that's been a lifestyle change. Like, I don't go anywhere without my cup, because I don't go anywhere without mine either. I'm the same way. Yeah, I have a couple that I take with me places, but and it's interesting because, see, what they've done, and the reason I don't count macros is they've studied across the world how much protein people eat, and even when you're intentionally trying to count your macros, over time the average is somewhere between 16 and 20% for the whole world. I mean, it's pretty consistent. This 30% doesn't really, people, unless you're just doing a bunch of supplements, protein supplements, which I think most people know how I feel about those. I'm not a fan of them personally, because they're not satiating. But if most people are eating that, then we know, well, that's what we should be doing, trying to get that much protein in, right? Because that's what healthy people are eating across the world too.
So one of the things on the protein topic, so I agree with everything you're saying, and none of this is necessarily new information to me. It's just, for me, it's like, what is the right recipe for me? Right. So, like, on the protein topic, I think, I think switching to, whether you want to call it keto or low
it
carb,
doesn't matter.
Protein, however you want to couch it. I think what I'm learning is when I'm focusing on, because I've preached on this channel about why I don't count macros anymore.
Right.
And I'm still, I needed again that time that Mounjaro gave me over the last few months to rewire. I feel like that rewiring's been done. Now it becomes like, okay, how do we get to the next level? Because ultimately my immediate goal is to get the weight off. When the weight comes off, the diabetes can go into remission. It can, at least it's not as bad when there's not as much of a tax on your body from the weight that you're carrying around. And I've got 100 pounds plus to lose still. So I think that what I'm learning is that as I've changed the macros, not intentionally, just like keep my sugars down, I'm eating more animal protein. That animal protein sits in your stomach, and that delayed gastric emptying, I think, does a lot more for you with that protein in your stomach than it does.
It absolutely does. It is the macronutrient that takes the most calories to digest, although it's not huge. I mean, you can't count on that for burning calories, but I mean, it takes the longest to digest. It sits there the longest. It's the hardest to digest. It matters. And well, the other thing too is, I follow bariatric rules, and it's kind of weird for people, but I eat my protein first from my plate, and then I eat veggies. and then I eat carbs.
Yeah.
Whether it's fruit or other carbs.
And
I eat all the protein first.
I've learned as a diabetic that when I do that same thing, when the protein is the first macro that I can consume on my plate, the blood sugar response is way more evened out.
Yeah.
If I start with corn and potatoes and then eat my steak, it's not nearly as it is.
And you'll eat less corn, although we do want to get veggies and fiber in for micronutrients because it's healthy for us. But while losing weight, that protein's got to be, and for maintenance too. I mean, it's got to be the top thing. But I even if I eat soup, I'll try to eat all the protein out of the soup before I get to the veggies. Just because it's a habit I've gotten into from the bariatric world.
Yeah, you just like automatically. I know for me and probably you all too. I automatically go for the protein, and really two days before my injection, and I had to learn this the hard way. I do, and many people do what's called pre-gaming, and that's where you're prepping your body for the injection. So even though you're getting your however many grams of protein in per day, 2 days before my injection, I'm really upping my protein. And Mounjaro has kind of changed my, taste buds. So I love bowls. So bowls do like the best for me. So I love kava. I love chipotle.
Those are great.
Thank you. And I can make my own, but it's easier to go to kava or chipotle. And I get like half chicken and half steak. And I'm really pumping the electrolytes in for 2 days prior to my injection. The day of my injection, I eat eggs. I'm still eating protein. 30 minutes prior to my injection, I'm drinking a protein shake. You know why? Because it helps to ward off adverse side effects. So I don't have the same fatigue that I used to have. And I am doing B12 injections also sub-Q, but I have so much protein in my body that it's helping my muscles, which is helping my body to take the injection.
I think that's a little bit what I'm experiencing over this last few days is that intentional protein, just by virtue of eating low carb, I'm eating more protein. I've tried to get good protein in along the way, but I know that it's been nowhere near what it's been the last few days because that's primarily what I've been eating. And the fatigue has gotten better in the last two. Again, it's only been about 4 or 5 days. The fatigue has gotten a lot better in the last 2 days. The appetite suppression has hit another level, and I'm at the end of the week.
And see, that's great. And the other thing you keep in mind too, you don't have to overdo the protein either. You just got to get enough, because the problem is protein can be converted into carbs by your body too.
It turns to glucose just as well when you overeat it. It takes a lot of it.
So if you just get enough, which is when you do get enough, you don't want to eat more. So it works out really well. It does.
I'll be interested to see kind of how it goes. I plan on, especially since I'm going down from the 12.5 to the 5 now for a month. I think it'll be, I'll have to stick with that if I keep my sugars in check. And then I'll be interested to kind of report along the way how it goes. But we could easily go all night. We've already got about 40 plus minutes. I appreciate you both coming on the stream tonight. Let's do it again, because I think we could talk a lot more about a lot more things. And we talked about a lot of stuff tonight. So thank you both. Jernine, it was great to meet you and great to have you on. So thank you so much for making time.
Well, thank you for the invite. And just know that I use one of my 5 milligrams for like a pointer just to see.
Oh, I love it.
Is that not fun? I didn't even know you were going to have that tonight. And I had this right here, and I'm like,
he loves messing around with those pens. He's taking them apart and everything.
I've seen him take them apart, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he really.
I can't get him apart. I tried. I cannot get it apart.
I can't do it either. I can barely inject.
You know what I noticed is I had an older box from December, and those ones came apart really easy. And the newer boxes with the later expiration dates, like this would be the lot. Those are harder to get apart.
I can't get mine.
I think part of it, I just unlocked it. Whoops. I forgot I haven't taken this yet. I don't want to ruin Pug's thunder either, because he paid good money to pick where I inject this. But yeah, I think they've made it harder. I have heard anecdotally, and then I'll let you ladies go, but I've heard anecdotally about people who have doctors prescribing them the 15 milligram, and they have them injecting that 15 milligram shot into a sterile vial and then drawing it up into 5 milligram shots. So
I saw that when you posted it. I think.
So there's people. I think I posted on the member side of the channel.
Or you might have just texted that to me. I don't know.
I probably texted you because I text you everything. But I probably put it on the member side too. But, yeah. So
we talk about so much, but thank you again. And it was so great to be on, and it's just been a pleasure. I mean, thank you. And again, thank you for all you do. Michelle, thank you for the late night conversations when I have insomnia from Mounjaro.
Man,
well, no, I'm so happy to actually get to talk to you. It's just wonderful. Thank you for coming and doing this with us, because I had never got to really talk to you. I've seen you on your podcast, and of course we talked a lot, but I never actually got to do a face-to-face with you. So this is great.
And that is a great segue into plug for davisdiscord.com, where all these conversations happen, where we all get to know each other, and then we get to see each other here on the pen. But yeah, davisdiscord.com will take you to the Discord that we're always referencing here on this channel. It's also linked in the description. Michelle, thank you as well for joining. As always, you're such a delight to have here. It's just a wealth of information, and just
it was fun.
A great friend. So thank you both for being here tonight. I can't wait to do it again. We'll do it again sometime soon.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
All right. Have a nice night, ladies.
Bye.
Good night.
What a great conversation that was with Jernine and Michelle. Their social media callouts are in the description of this video. How was that? Can we just give it up in the chat for those two ladies and for that conversation tonight, which was so helpful, I think. And also with the breaking news at the outset of the ever nearing weight loss indication for Mounjaro, with Mounjaro now showing up on the back end of prescribers' programs that they use to write prescriptions. So yeah, you want to go back and check that out earlier on in the video. Thank you to Jernine and Michelle. So the next thing we have on the channel is going to be, we're going to take some calls. So I'm going to start scrolling this here. We're not going to have a call screener tonight because we're going to bring Chrissy right into the stream. And so I'm going to bring in Chrissy, the girl on the Wegovy. Chrissy, I'm bringing you in. Welcome to the stream, girl.
Hello.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Can I just say I only get like maybe on a good day 60 grams of protein. So I was just putting in a grocery order while I was between comments.
Well, your cousin owes you a steak still. So
yes,
if the weather decides to cooperate at some point here.
Yeah, sounds like not this weekend.
I guess not.
I love Iowa.
Yeah. I'm ready for the winter to be officially over, the cold weather to be gone.
Thanks, Mom.
So I gave everybody a little bit of an update on my journey back to the 5 milligram, and then I'm going to slowly titrate up through the doses. My weight, 280. It's flat. I mean, I get the lowest that I got down was 277, and the next day it shot back up. I was up as much as 285 a week ago, and it bounces around within a 10-pound range, I feel like, but 280 is where I'm at right now. I'm hoping to see that scale move a little bit with the diet change and just some extra effort. But how was your week?
Well, I'll talk about a topic that we didn't talk about with the ladies.
All right, let's do it.
Well, okay. So little short backstory. I have 2 children my previous husband passed away in 2020. So they go to counseling. We've been struggling with getting Cassie into a new counselor. She's my 15-year-old. She's not 16 till September, but, so she reminded me of it the other day, and I was scrolling because I know we got something through my husband's insurance about EAP. And so I was like, Oh, do I need to stop so you can inject? Sorry.
I think so. I mean, when somebody gives a $50 super chat, I guess they get to dictate.
All right.
Go a little bit.
Stop everything.
All right. Sorry. This is not some sort of weird rash. This is me leaning against my desk. All right. So left arm, he said, right? Sorry to cut you off, Chris.
Oh, you're fine. It's not you. It's Pug.
This looking in the camera is bad because I don't know which way to move. All right, ready?
Put the guns away, he says. That looks like muscle. I mean, not that it goes deep enough to hit muscle. Just FYI to everyone.
All right. Donezo.
You gotta not need Mounjaro to actually hit muscle with that tiny needle. Just so everyone knows.
Right. You gotta be pretty cut. That one for 5 milligram. That was a stinger. Thank you again for the super chat. That was super generous of you. Thank you so much. So and before I'm gonna get back to Chrissy's point here, but before we do that, I will just say if you want to call the show 1-833-847-9372. That's 1-833 Terzepa. What's so funny?
If you'd like to interrupt her again, here's her number.
As soon as she wait for Chrissy to get going again, maybe wait for her to even get like a little emotional, and then call.
When the tears start flowing, the calls start flowing.
All right. So go ahead.
Anyway, I'm rolling through trying to find a female for my daughter, and my therapist comes up. And I haven't been there. So I haven't talked to her since October. Maybe August, honestly. It's been a minute. And so I was like, this is a sign. Stopped everything and called her. So I got in, what's today? Thursday? Yesterday. Wednesday. Why do my days feel so long? Because my back was out all day today. And another thing that contributes to, not following what I should be doing for the last few weeks was not drinking enough water. Not getting in protein, which I did have 2 protein shakes today. So sometimes healthcare has its benefits. I didn't get a lunch break, so I grabbed a protein shake out of my bag and drank it on the way out. So that was 60 grams of protein I had before I even left the hospital. Mind you, it was like 380 calories, which isn't really enough, but the protein was on point.
Yeah, that's good.
Then I took a Flexeril and fell asleep until like 15 minutes before I had to be on here. So it's been a day, but I haven't had I've been lucky enough to not have back issues for a couple of years. So I think we can get this to go away. But yeah, that holistic approach. My therapist was actually the first one to recommend Mounjaro to me. If you guys can believe that, it wasn't even Dave. It was my therapist, because I started seeing her again because I was eating everything in sight. Like I said, I was an equal opportunity eater. Like, I'll eat you when I'm full. It's fine. Thank you, Doritos and whatever else may be in front of me. So yeah, binging you guys talked about, that's totally me. I think I struggled now to get the protein in because, like you said, it takes longer to digest, and there are far more things that I can stand to put in my stomach when I've been full all day off of 30 grams of protein.
Right.
But I mean, I'm still up a few pounds, I'm not gonna lie. But today's definitely a better day.
It just sometimes it's like that,
Earlier this week, I went to Jimmy John's, and when I got my sandwich home, I cut it in half and put half of it in the fridge. So I feel like that's a baby step in the right direction.
Yeah.
I just had like 30 minutes before I had to get to the church earlier in the week. That means it was yesterday.
I feel
it's been a long day.
Well, before we came on live tonight, I was telling all you ladies, I was like, it's a lot harder for me to get up and excited and energetic for a Thursday night live stream because it's not Friday. Like, I mean, this week, I can't believe it's not already Friday night because like it's been such a long week for me too. I mean, it feels like this week is drug on for 10 days. So yeah. I get it.
Yeah. Like it was 1:30. I hadn't had lunch break, and then they decided, you can't go to lunch. We're going to run a mock code.
Oh,
okay. So I just was like, I'm not
You're
taking
like,
lunch. I'm
you're like,
just
can I be the guy that's the mock code?
right. Because my back, I was like, I can't do compressions, just FYI. I said, I'm normally a whole person. Today, I'm maybe a third of a person. I cannot do compressions. So I gave breaths. It was fine.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't die. Either did our patient. By
yeah,
the way.
you didn't die. That's like your advice to everybody.
I literally said that
But
to
did
someone
you die?
today. I said that to someone today. I was like, okay, we knew that the doctor's first day back from vacation was going to be a doozy. It always is. But guess what? You woke up on the right side of the dirt. And she was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I know I'm annoyingly positive, but at least I'm not annoyingly negative, right?
She's like, my grandma died, and then found out my puppy has cancer, and you're like, but do you have cancer?
That's kind of who I am. But what can we learn from this?
What are your takeaways?
Right. And
How
how
does
does
this
that
make
make
you
you
better?
feel? Yeah. There's probably a target on my back.
It's been one of those weeks. I will share, like I had a really good week at work this week, and I feel like I feel like I'm on the right track. Stepping back with the Mounjaro. I'm hoping that helps the headaches. I'm hoping this B12 injections that I got coming in the mail help with a little bit with the fatigue. I even think maybe pulling back on the Mounjaro just might help, and the increase in protein after the conversation. I'm feeling very positive about how this week unfolded. So in some ways,
Good.
I'm excited for Friday. It's been a good week. So I'd like to
I
see
was
the meal move.
thinking as the ladies were talking about that Mounjaro, and it's been on my formulary, and I was like, well, maybe I should see if I can switch. But then I was like, I think you need to follow something consistently for a period of time to really understand the results. And it's not that I'm not having results. I'm being counterproductive right now, but I do think 1 milligram of Wegovy is not it for me. I think.
Yeah, you said that last week. So how many more shots do you have of the 1 milligram?
One? Two.
Okay.
I don't know.
So when's the next time that you see Angie?
Well, we have a follow-up, like 16 weeks would be after this box is up, but I think I might send a message out and just be like, hey, how do you feel about this? See if maybe she'll increase my dose early.
Yeah, I'm sure she
Hey,
would.
can I just stab myself twice this week?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm going to go ahead and give myself this one, but how's about you send me some twos?
I honestly was thinking about doing a shot today, but
yeah,
I thought maybe
we should do our shots together on a show some night.
Yeah, that would be, hey, then I would remember to do it. As guys, I texted Dave something on Monday and went, and as I'm writing this, I'm realizing I did not do my injection last night.
Yeah, I will not forget that. I mean, I literally wouldn't forget that.
I get busy crafting when everybody's asleep.
Yeah.
I hate to call it crafting, but
Pug
creating.
said the phone line is dead.
What?
I was
here,
trying,
get into the app. I wonder if that was the issue.
to make sure that it was all set up while the ladies were talking. Default extension. Maybe they might call you. Is that okay?
Okay.
Well, it might not be okay because you got your headphones on, right?
I do, but I can put my phone on speaker.
Okay. Oh yeah, you can do that. Okay. Try again, Pug. I don't know. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong here. 1-8.
So the phone line died. But did you?
but did you? But did you, bro?
I'm that driving meme that says, "But did you die?" from the guy from The Hangover. That's me.
Right.
We got here and you didn't die. Just stop.
Exactly. Yeah, try again, Pug. If not, if that doesn't work, then failed. I tell you what, Pug.
You're gonna get them digits.
Yeah, just trying to figure out if you're on the Discord, but I don't think you're on the Discord. Otherwise, I'd just send you my number.
Did Pug call us before?
No, he hasn't. Pug's pretty new to the channel.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Looks like everything is set up the way that it always has been. Default extension enabled. Sorry, this is a bit clunky here.
He shouldn't die.
What's the 1833
Zeppa.
847 9372. I'm gonna try to call it.
Calling.
Is your phone ringing?
I know there's a lag though.
We're calling ourselves. This is probably gonna make the stream explode. Oh, see, now my phone is saying hold and accept. So my phone is ringing.
Why isn't mine?
So yeah. Well, I don't know, but my phone is ringing. Maybe
I
try
got the missed call or the message notification.
Yeah, so it looks like it's working. 1-8. Make sure it's 1833 Pug, because there's been a couple times where I've said 1-800 and it's not 1-800. It's 1833 847 9372. So if you're able to get through, we'll definitely take your call. If not, we'll do it next week. But yeah, if anybody else wants to call too, 833 Terzeppa. We'd love to have you on the stream here tonight. We've got a few more minutes before we'll wrap it up anyway. So yeah. Oh, hey, look, it's working.
Ta-da!
This
Call for extension 0 to accept 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Abraham.
Hey, what's up, man? It probably helps if I put in the right phone number.
It always helps to do that.
It helps if Dave says the right number.
Yeah, I know. I said 1-800 a couple times, so that's my bad. But how you doing, man? First of all, thank you for the super generous super chat, and thanks for not having me inject into my jugular.
No problem. Just want to thank you for all the information and support and everything that I've learned from you just watching all your videos.
That's awesome, man. It's my pleasure, and I'm excited to have other people coming on and doing the same thing. So if y'all haven't gotten a chance, Pug on Mounjaro, he's got his own channel and he's making his own videos documenting his own journey. So you want to get over there and check him out. But yeah, dude, it's my pleasure to do these videos, especially these lives. It's my favorite part of the week, and just super enjoy it. So can you tell everybody how long have you been on Mounjaro?
Well, I first got diagnosed with diabetes on the 13th of February, and after that, that's when the doctor, she set me up for it, and I started Mounjaro probably a week or so after, because it took a little bit longer to get it out here in Las Vegas. Once I started it, I changed my whole diet, changed everything, just kind of cold turkey, no sodas, no carbs, nothing like that, and just sticking to a workout routine. I started at 470 pounds, and the only thing you really do is just walk around at work, and I just started doing that, and now I'm walking a lot, more than I probably ever have, and I haven't eaten this many salads ever in my life. In the last 2 months, I've probably eaten more salads in the last 2 months than I have in my whole life.
Well, that's a lot of change all at once. How is so as a type 2 diabetic, you've said some things that have really resonated with me because, I've been on the type 2 diabetes journey too now for a couple years. And I think you said, I think it was you. So forgive me if I'm confusing you with another video, but I think it was you that said that you really have a hard time or had a hard time at first accepting the fact that you actually were type 2 diabetic. Was that a hard thing to accept?
Yeah, absolutely. No one in my family had that I know of. My mom was pre-diabetic. No one that I know had it, so I just had the mentality that no one else in my family has it, so I can't get it, and that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you get so big, you get so insulin resistant that it doesn't matter about your genetics. It just matters what the heck you're doing to yourself, and I just let it go.
Yeah,
it fell apart, and you don't know until you reach facing the bottom until you could pick yourself up and just move forward with your life.
Yeah, sometimes in life, those rock bottoms are exactly the wake up call that we need to get us to where we're supposed to be. And I know that for me, the type 2 diabetic diagnosis for me was like, I felt for many, many years, like, what am I doing? I have 4 kids. You've got, how many pugs do you have? I think I can hear them in the background, by the way. You have 3 pugs.
Pumbaa, Nala, and Scar. For the ultimate lion king.
Yeah, Pumbaa, Nala, and Scar. Love it. So you've got the 3 pugs. I've got 4 kids, and I'm like, what am I doing? Why can't I get healthy? What's it going to take? And almost breathed a sigh of relief when I got the type 2 diagnosis, because it was like, now you have to. The decision has been made for you. You can either like lose a limb or go blind, or, and then be a really terrible father, or you can get your act together. And so that's, Mounjaro has been, a gift to me to try to get that ship righted. And yeah, I know it's a tough journey mentally, but it sounds like, to me, with all the weight that you've lost so quickly, you're doing all the right things. I'm so excited to watch the rest of your journey unfold. I hope that you keep up with the videos, because it's an encouraging story. Sometimes we need to borrow encouragement from one another, right? Like, I've been stuck at the same weight for a few weeks here. I need to borrow a little encouragement to hear, like, there's people that are in the same boat, that are seeing success. Just got to borrow a little of the encouragement and keep going, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we all need to encourage ourselves. We all need to be with each other, because we're all put ourselves in the same situation. I mean, not everyone's diabetic, but still, we're insulin resistant. We're all fat. We all have to make that change. And like you said, with Mounjaro, it changes your mindset and gives you a chance to pause and think of, like, I don't really need that.
Right.
Do I want it? Yeah. But do I need it? No.
Right.
And, the biggest change, all the vitamins, supplements, and all the water and all that's what really helped me throughout the process, is just retraining my brain.
Yep.
And my brain gave me the opportunity to make that change. I got people at work, I work in a dealership, and that's all they do all day long is eat and eat and eat. Like today, they had Raising Cane's, which is like a fast food.
Oh, I'm well aware.
They had that today. And I didn't want it. I just had my salad, my meat, the food that.
Good for you.
And I didn't really care.
That's a hard thing to say no to, because if it were up to me, I would just have an IV drip of cane sauce going like throughout the day.
Chick-fil-A sauce is way better.
I don't know about that.
That stuff rolls my life.
Yeah, I don't know. There is of both the cane sauce and the Chick-fil-A sauce, there is a 0 carb version. It's the brand is G Hughes, and it's you got to look it up, G.HUGHS.
Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah. Oh, it's good stuff.
I didn't know he had a Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yeah, they do. It's called.
I love the sweet chili, though. I put that stuff on everything.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Well, Pug, thank you so much for calling. I appreciate you. I appreciate you calling in tonight. Thank you so much for the super chat as well. We're just so glad to have you here. Like, love the addition to the community. Love your videos, and we'll look forward to following along, buddy. Thanks for calling and being persistent tonight.
Thank you.
I love you guys, and let's just continue on with this journey.
All right. Yep.
Finish strong, guys.
We'll do it together. All right. Take care, Pug.
All right. Take care, brother.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Chrissy.
Good night.
Pug.
One thing I just want to say. Sorry.
No, go
How
ahead.
much more money is actually spent on healthcare in the treatment of disease, where I feel like if we can we're slowly on that track.
Yeah.
This is one of my soapboxes. I know. Preventing disease.
Right.
Oh, if we were open, the doors were open to some of this all of our lives, I think we would have started so much sooner. We wouldn't have let it get to this
I wish I
point.
would have had Mounjaro 2 years ago before my diagnosis. So something to avoid getting it there, but some really good news on the weight loss front tonight. If you guys didn't catch earlier on in the stream, you're going to want to go back to before the interview started with Jernine and Michelle. Some breaking news on Mounjaro being added to basically the back end of a prescriber portal that lots of doctors use. The weight loss indication has been added. I can't remember the name of it. It's like E something. All I can think is Socrates. It's
Hippocrates.
Hippocrates. Yeah. Hippocrates. Something with Athena. So the back end of Athena is how prescribers prescribe Mounjaro, and they added the weight loss indication of Mounjaro. So we're taking that to mean that the indication for weight loss is soon to be forthcoming from the FDA, maybe quicker than we thought. I want to say hi to Donna. I think I just caught that you're here in the stream. Hi, Donna, Sandra, Hambone.
I was going to say, hey, Dave, what do you start with when you make ham and bean soup?
Hambone. But we so appreciate each and every one of you joining tonight. Just shout out to all the members. Thank you to Michelle, to Jernine for coming on. They're also members of the channel. Sandra's a member of the channel. Chrissy, thank you for being here and doing what you do.
Also a member of the channel.
A wonderful contributor of the channel. Man, just lots of people came to the stream tonight. Julie, welcome. Thanks for coming. Just appreciate all of you. Jess, saw you here as well. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining. This has been a great stream tonight. Chrissy, we're going to have a better week, and we will be, I
got like tons of protein coming at me in the morning. I just deliver it to the house. I got a free day off tomorrow. Good. I might even exercise if I can move.
Yeah, I hope that you get feeling better in that way. That's a bummer. But thanks for joining as always. Each and every one of you, you're the best part of this stream. You're the best part of what we do here at Man on the Mounjaro. Thank you for being on the pen, and thank you for choosing to be here on the pen live tonight. And we are going to see you next week. But until then, enjoy your week.
What?